Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're at the Great Basin College from Nevada as well. Our school is from Nevada. I am actually from Reno, Nevada. This is Kyle Gideon, also from Reno, Nevada. We've got Jason Solt from Dayton, Nevada. We have Lori Price from Northeastern California. I can never remember the town.
Victoria Blackburn from Texas.
There we go. And Sarah Walker from Grass Valley, California. Those keep talking over each other. We honestly, we came into this knowing that we basically had no real chance of meeting as an entire team and practicing what we were able to do. We had 4 of us that were able to meet up in California, as central a location as we could for the group as an entirety, and we're able to kind of go through some field work and situations, not being able to turn an angle kind of through a wrinkle in our plans, because that was kind of a big part of our plan. Before I run into too many more brain parts, I'm just going to go ahead and move on.
So, being some of our team members' first time that we were able to meet, and the night before, took us a few minutes to kind of get together and really kind of figure out how we wanted to approach setting up. And as students at Great Basin College, we take online courses, and I think every single one of us work in a fashion where we work in the field occasionally, so we all had thoughts on how we wanted to get started, and we settled on kind of establishing a line that would get us to our northeast corner of our parcel. And what we did was we set up our level over our center benchmark, and once we obtained our compass bearing, which would bisect the squared parcel at a 45-degree angle through our northeast corner, we established that line and set a nail roughly 315 feet out through that, along that line. We then pulled the tape and established our northeast corner with that by measuring the distance and utilizing the corner that we set and the point that we set beyond our corner. We set up over our baseline corner and then shot back through our center benchmark to establish the southwest corner. We then pulled 2 tapes and measured distances, distance intersections from our center benchmark to our established corner, and we set midpoints along our boundary line and taped, double taped the corners in, bisecting the parcel into 4 squares. The way we checked our measurements, we obviously, in order to set the point, we taped the distance, set the point, checked and verified that our point that we set was where it was intended to be, and we ran through those measurements, measuring midpoint to midpoint, going around as a check a second time, and that's how we established
So once we have decided and set our corners to our parcel, we decided our best method we were going to use was to set a grid on our parcel. We decided to split up the parcel into roughly 26-foot grid lines. So based off of our edges, we went and staked every 26 feet along each edge, and went around the entire parcel. After we did that, we set additional marks on every intersect of 26 feet. We decided we would use rocks, and we would tie ribbon to our rocks and actually get somewhat of a relatively accurate location of where we put our grid. Once we decided that our grid was acceptable, we set up a level in the middle, right next to our benchmark. We did a check with both our Philly rods. We decided to use 2 Philly rods to shoot our topo to make it a little faster. So we benched in with both those rods, make sure we didn't have any discrepancies, and we started leapfrogging every point to get all the data we needed. It roughly came into about 64 points for every intersect. And once we did every intersect, we decided that we would come in and catch feature lines afterwards. We used our grid line to establish where every one of those points were going to go, and we measured off what the distance off each intersect we were going to put our supplemental topo for. Throughout that process, we also made sure we checked our elevation and made sure our instrument was still level and that we were still getting the correct readings. And after that, obviously, we can go to the next slide. Obviously, environmentally, we were challenged. There definitely was a lot of wind. We are blessed to actually work in this environment constantly, so this isn't really a new day for us people over here in Nevada. We definitely had problems holding tape, keeping it nice and straight. Since we weren't really given any clamps or anything like that to actually check and do any measurements and make sure that our tape was pulled tight, what we pretty much did was try to go as a team and make sure that there wasn't anything in our line, make sure there wasn't any vegetation or rocks or anything that would throw our line off. And we definitely used the entire team at a lot of points to get up and over brush and to change angles and check all our angles while we're doing it. Temperature didn't really vary all day. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much where we're at, so.
So initially, when we set up, we've got to make sure our equipment's good after the travel. We double paged our level, and just verified everything was working to the standard we needed to.
Another check that we made was that we used 2 compasses at every corner, and Jason and I each had a different kind of compass, both with the declination set, and we checked together at one end and made sure that we had the same readings. And if we found that one of us didn't, then that person rechecked and tried to figure out if there was really an error in our measurement, or if one of us was just using the compass wrong, which happened a couple times.
We ended up averaging our compass readings, basically just a performance check on our boundary to calculate them. Just verify our angles as well as we could, but calculated our corridor based on our tape distance as we traverse that map to verify our angles. Yeah, and all our checks regarding our corners were performed. This is intersectional. It's still paid. In the office, there's, we, again, still learning what each other is good at. We were able to delegate tasks effectively in the office. I have CAD experience, and Sarah Walker has CAD experience, so I took, kind of took the notes and the boundary part of the mapping, and Sarah did the topo portion of the mapping while our other team members were calculating the field notes, reducing the field notes information, and setting up the slideshow.
I want to explain why there's a picture of an original survey plot there. I believe that one of our jobs as surveyors is to do some research about the surveyors who went before us on a plot. And so I looked up this section on the BLM's GLO site and just wanted to show our team what the parcel looked like when it was originally surveyed. And sure enough, mountains with rolling land and bunch grass still there. So I just boxed in the section that we worked in, and we were actually in the north half of the southwest quarter of that section. And really, more specifically, I think our team was in the northeast of the southwest of that section. But it was just a good historical reference, and for us to realize that even though we were just there for one day, and if we were there as a team in a third world country for one day or a week, that there have been people there before us doing the same thing.
All right, so we had to go in and take all the data that we collected out there and put it into Civil 3D. So we went into Civil 3D, laid out the grid, and then we started putting points in. And we started off with all of our grid points, then we came back through with our feature lines, and we started creating a 10 surface, so triangular, irregular network. And with that 10 surface, we started going in, swapping triangles, we went into object viewer, we're watching object viewer, and we're like, is this how it looked when we were out in the field? We're going through it, and we're constantly going back and forth, and we're like, okay, so this triangle should be swapped because the elevation is moving this way, and we just fine-tuned that surface in until we got all the contours moving exactly how it felt when we were out there, because even though we went in and collected all the data, we needed to make sure that the surface agreed with it beyond just throwing the points in and saying, hey, all these points do it, CAD create it. No, we had to go past that. We did all of our checks. We made sure we kept fine-tuning it until it was just how we wanted it. And these are kind of some pictures showing it. We had, we took a Google Earth image and we underlaid it behind the topo points that we shot. We went into Google Earth and we took the ruler tool and drew it at the bottom, and that gave us, you know, something to scale off of. We imported the image into CAD, scaled the image behind the topo, and that kind of helped us give some verification that while we were out there and we were shooting these feature lines, we also had this image behind it saying, yes, that was correct. That was how it flowed. And we were able to look at all of those types of things. So having that really helped us out. So we were constantly doing all these checks inside of CAD to make sure that the data was all jiving with what we took out into the field.
So just to kind of wrap up, I know that the whole point of this was to kind of mirror Engineers Without Borders, and one thing that I feel like, while most people might see it as a disadvantage, that we don't get together on a daily basis or a weekly or however many times that, you know, most teams practice. We don't have that luxury, whereas the other teams obviously do. So while we don't have that, we are all in the field on a daily basis or in the office continuously doing these types of things. So translating that into Engineers Without Borders, you're thrown into an area where you don't know anything, you don't know who you're going to be with, you don't know what kind of equipment you're going to get. and you just have to make it work. So, well, thanks.
And at this time, we would like to open it up to questions from the judges.
I just want a clarification on one thing. You said that Saturday was the first day you got together?
Yes, it was the first day that some of our team members have met. Yes.
Okay. I'm just curious, when did you decide to enter the contest? Or the competition, I'm sorry.
In August is
In
when-
August, oh, okay.
Our faculty advisor at Great Basin, Byron Calkins, contacted all of us, I think, and invited us to be part of the team. Was hoping to put together a solid team for our school. And like Nick said, 4 of us were able to get together about a month ago and just try out some different techniques and get to know each other a little bit. And then the rest of us came together on Saturday. But it seemed like we had a pretty good synergy, our team.
So while it seems like a super disadvantage, not knowing each other, I feel like was actually pretty great because we really got to bond in that first day where we met, and we just found each other's strengths and weaknesses, and we really worked off of that. So whenever we were in the field, we kind of got together and we just mustered and we were like, okay, you know, this is what you're used to doing. And it's exactly how it would be with Engineers Without Borders. You say, all right, well, if you do that and that's what you're good at, you go do that, and we're going to break off into two groups, and we're going to really show our strengths. Whereas instead of focusing on, well, I'm not used to this, we made it work. We did the best we could with what we were given.
I have a question along that same theme. Did I understand that 2 or 3 of you were not from Nevada?
Yes, three of the 6 are not actually from Nevada. We have California, and Texas, and then 3 of us right here are from Nevada.
Yeah, that underscores your comment about Engineers Without Borders. Often in surveying, you're put together with a team that you've never met before. You meet at the site. That's an interesting concept. Nicely done.
And it absolutely made it kept it interesting for sure. I mean, anybody that was out there watching us could have seen that it took us a while to get the ball rolling. It took us a minute because, again, I worked with Jason, I worked with Kyle in the past. So we know how we work together, but we still have to make it fit with the rest of the team. And yes, it took us a minute to get rolling, but as soon as we did, I feel like we got picked up the ramp.
Any questions from the judges? Okay, any questions from the other students? We got a question here. What was your observed error?
Our observed error was 1 in 3316, yes, 3,316.
Any questions from, oh, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I saw in the picture it looked like when you were pulling tape, you were running that right on the ground. Did you do any reduction of slope to horizontal distances?
It was just a photograph of the tape.
Oh. All right.
It wasn't exactly how we measured it.
I want to say one quick thing about our taping corrections. We did do a quick taping correction for temperature just to see, but the calibrated temperature of the tape was only 4 degrees different, or maybe 2 degrees different from the temperature that day, and so it only would have made about 3/1000ths of a difference in our corrections.
I think we're out of time for questions.